averaged around the 88 mark in getting the better of another Women's Series winner in Kirsi Vinnikainen. This a completely
85.
different challenge, of course. Noelin van Leuven looking for a 5th Women's Series success. But I expect this one to be fiercely
100.
contested.
I agree. You've got to give Steffi credit because she'd averaged in
140.
the high 60s all day, but then raised her level by 20 in that semi-final. And you do get the feeling, based on how Noah Lynn's played today, Steffi Look is going to
85.
need that same sort of level against this very dangerous opponent.
And she
46.
showed, didn't she, for much of that semi-final against Vinnikainen, that she's got it at the moment. She was up above the 90 mark for large spells of that contest.
55.
Just goes to show how well you can play if you get a good start, because her doubles were excellent
60.
at the start of that semi-final. Took her a couple of legs to get over the line, but already after 12 darts thrown, Noah Lynn is showing that her levels
57.
will probably not drop in this final.
$42.
Pressure has to be applied here, and must go 19s with dart 3.
28.
Noah Lynn doesn't have to go 18s, but might still take it.
124.
Great try. It's an early red flag for Stephanie. She's going to have to get that first dart planted in a good spot, otherwise this could be like pushing water uphill.
100. Game shot.
And it is first blow to Noelin van Leuven, looking for a 5th Women's Series title, the first of 2025, though. As you said, it feels like Noelin van Leuven is
96.
going to play at a certain level. She won't deviate too much from that, but also, if she does realise her opponent's struggling somewhat,
96.
she's not the type to take her foot off the gas, is she?
Not at all. She is going to be going
140.
the Women's World Match Play in the summer again. But if Stephanie's got any sort of ambitions of doing that herself, she has been to Blackpool before,
30.
but not as a player. But if she wants to get on the stage and take on 7 other competitors in that draw,
95.
winning this tournament would start to get her close to where she'd need to be. It's going to have to be a really good weekend.
95.
And then again in Milton Keynes for her to do such a thing, but it's not out of her remit.
Well, she'll also have her eyes on the main
100.
order of merit as well on the Women's Series, where the top 2, of course, qualify for the World Championship. There are also Grand Slam spots up for
140.
grabs, or we expect there to be anyway when the criteria comes out for it. She's currently 16th in that order of merit, as she looks for double 8.
Didn't like that one.
62.
Didn't particularly like that one either. Wants to get a ton here to leave tops, but has to craft it around that blocker.
100.
Very well done. Now Stephanie has to hit this, otherwise it'll be 2-0. She needs a settler.
Four.
She doesn't get it. And that could be fatal in leg 2.
Yeah, 5 darts missed at double. from Stephanie Luke.
30.
But Noelyn van Leuven, well, I mentioned that she's not normally the type, when an opponent is looking to settle, that Noah's going to give her the opportunities to do so. But that's exactly what she's done. One more in hand, though, to punish.
2.
And you just can't afford to miss. 8 darts at double. And she doesn't look very happy, does she?
Game shot.
The only person happy in this game right now is Noah Lynn. When you miss those opportunities early, you're making things harder for yourself. But it's not as if she hasn't tried her best. She will actually be learning about
60.
herself on the fly right now, because she's never been in this situation before. When you're doing something for the first time and you're nervous and the adrenaline's pumping,
85.
if you haven't got a plan for something like this, you have to just wing it. You have to play your best and just dig deep.
95.
Winging it is something I know a heck of a lot about, actually. We're coming into my strong subject here.
$80.
But it's also a very quick turnaround, isn't it, for her? Something else that she won't be greatly used to. As we mentioned a little while ago, before this run to
45.
the final, had only ever won 2 games on the women's series, so wouldn't be used to playing in the semi-final. Then you've got that adrenaline, you start to come down, but then you've got to get straight back onto the board.
60.
It's a lot to learn, a lot to adapt to.
One of the things that actually might help Steffi this
99.
entire day is that German darts festivals, whether it be soft tip or steel tip, they go all day long. Loads of different events. Pairs, double in, double out,
85.
shorter format, longer format, master out tournaments. Places like Nuremberg hold these monstrous events that happen all weekend.
45.
So playing 2 consecutive tournaments is not going to feel alien to what she's actually done in her life.
$45.
This game could be getting away from her already. Great first start.
101.
Not sure about the last effort, though. It hasn't worked out too badly. But going treble 16 on 80, the jury's out on that one. Especially with just the 1 dart in hand.
58.
Double top for a 3-0 lead.
36.
More opportunities coming her way because of Noelyn van Leuven misses.
Must guarantee the ball. There's no easy way to say this, but that was a mistake.
38.
But it is an understandable one, considering the circumstances.
Game shot.
Yeah, oh, how different things could have been had leg 2 been different. I feel that was the crucial leg, wasn't it? Stephanie missing 8 darts at double. And as you said, had one of those gone, it's more likely that she does give herself at least a dart at the
129.
bull in that last leg. But instead, she now finds herself 2 legs away from defeat in the final. You said about
46.
playing 2 events in a day. It really is relentless stuff, because the draw has already been made for the next event. It will get underway pretty much immediately after the conclusion of this final. Stephanie
30.
set to face another Dutch opponent in Mercedes Peters.
140.
She is in trouble in this final, but if she can keep Noelyn away from that 4th leg,
100.
the chance will still be there. don't want to afford your opponent the chance to serve it out. Exceptional counting there from
105.
Nolan, got to say it. There's a lot of people on the Pro Tour who wouldn't have done that. That was really good thinking, and we do get that from the Dutch players.
140.
Stephanie, the second German lady to have made a semi-final in Women's Series darts. And funnily enough, the other one was called Stephanie as well. Stephanie Rennick. That was back in 2022. So becoming the first finalist, history's already been made. Still more to do. Double top.
82.
Chance for 4-0.
$55.
That is awkward. Got to go left or high and right. Can't spray it.
No score.
Now this is a much easier chance than what Nolan just had. It could be 4-0 in the final with only one more leg needed.
Game
And
shot.
that's exactly what's happening. She's on Dream Street.
She really is. She's opened the door at times for a German opponent.
140.
But she's capitalized on pretty much every single mistake and miss. And Stephanie had been allowed opportunities to settle.
100.
As I mentioned, it's that second leg that'll really feel like even at that early point, things started getting away from her.
55.
Definitely. It may have infected the entire match. Wouldn't be the first to feel the wrath of missed darts at double early in a game.
100.
But you've got to be really strong in mind to be able to forget about it. This is strong.
171.
It's perfect. It's what we could say Arlene de Graaf-esque.
$55.
So that 1-7-1 setup play giving Noelin van Leuven a first match-winning opportunity.
95.
Hasn't been her best performance of the day by any stretch of the imagination. But look how good this leg has been. Can you do your best in a leg that would give you another
60.
Women's Series title?
So a 13 dart leg possibly to win things.
Game
Well, it was
shot.
3 match
and
darts
a championship.
needed in the
Noelin
end.
van
A
Leuven.
15 dart leg to get over the line and seal a 5th Women's Series success. Fantastic approach play from Noelin van Leuven. A 1-7-1, a 95 before taking out that 40. And it is glory for the Dutch woman.
In the semi-final against Dana
25.
Verhagen, Noah was showing signs of tiredness. And let's face it, they've been playing darts
Outside
for
to
around about
Noelin
9
van Leuven.
hours, including practice time.
Noelin
Anybody
to
would be
throw
feeling
first.
it at this stage. But does she have enough left to claim a second title of the day, Abby Davies?
Going to be very
57.
interesting to find out, isn't it, over the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. But Rhiannon O'Sullivan, when we've seen her on the streaming
45.
board, her biggest strength, or one of her biggest strengths, is, of course, her tops hitting. And that was working pretty delightfully
30.
for her in that match against Fallon Sherrock. She came through a little while ago. These two
60.
have met 14 times previously. It's 7 apiece, but Noelin van Leuven has come out on top in the last 3, including their only meeting so far this year.
137.
That was in Leicester during the last block of Women's Series events. It's a relatively comfortable
85.
4-1 success on that occasion.
99.
60.
Bit of a slow start from Rian in the scoring stakes. It'll be interesting to see what kind of lead is established by any
98.
person in this final. Or whether it will be one leg to one leg back,
60.
ditto, and then the same again. It might be one of those games where it's like a Newton's cradle. That was
40.
a dart that was thinking, don't go anywhere near the treble 20. But that is a luxury that Noah Lynn has had in this first leg.
60.
Double 16 then.
Game shot.
This time she does pin it. No, straying into the wrong segment there to take the first leg. Just wiping her darts there. They can
81.
get a little sticky, can't they? Especially in those conditions upstairs. It really is so humid.
And it's only April.
60.
Just imagine what it's going to be like when we come back to Rosmalen tomorrow when the temperature is up by about another 2 or 3 degrees.
22.
And then, of course, we have Players' Championship events on Monday and Tuesday and a European Tour event at the end of May.
97.
I'm glad you mentioned that it's 7-7 in the head-to-head record between these two, Abby, because this is actually the 7th final that Rihanna's played in Women's Series Dart. She's only won 1 of 6, though.
180.
She does not want it to be 1 in 7. One time it was her time. She beat Bo Greaves 5-3 in a final. That was in 2023 at Women's Series 6 in Milton Keynes.
$96.
Yeah, regardless of what happens from here, though, what this run has done is
60.
ensure Rhian O'Sullivan doesn't lose ground on that race to get back to the women's match play. Double 4 the target for Noah Lynn van Leuven. Now double 2.
64.
Again, though, Rhian O'Sullivan not within range to punish.
Yeah, too far back.
100.
You can't keep relying on your opponent missing.
Game shot.
And on this occasion, Noah Lynn does not miss. Getting a very similar feeling to the semi-final against Dana Verhagen. It all looks a little bit
140.
too easy at this stage.
Yeah, she's been able to find something yet again, hasn't she? Dig deep because, as you mentioned, Nico, in that semi-final, there was a spell
125.
where she started spraying her darts slightly and found it very tricky, like that
43.
visit, really, to find a big treble. Dana found a burst of her own. Things did get a little
41.
tricky, but found a way to dig deep and get over the line. Can she do that again here?
40. $100.
That's a little bit better. There needs to be more of that kind of stuff, even if it's just one treble. 85s and tons. They may prove vital.
100.
Because that's exactly what Nolan's doing at the minute. Even with an 80 average.
Well, we do see Rhian O'Sullivan
85.
put in some timely maximums, don't we? It's one of her other big strengths in this game. Wasn't able to find
41.
one.
Now, what's the route here? O'Sullivan is on 109. I would have been fascinated to see what she did next after a 57.
57.
She didn't have that luxury.
I think she'd have gone 2 tops.
Wouldn't have been surprised, but it's funny you should mention that.
20.
That's what
Yeah.
she's got left.
Yeah.
2 singles for 1 tops.
60.
Rihanna's got to get into this final soon. Can't leave yourself with too much to do. 32 left.
73.
That could be a costly miss.
Yeah, she's just not as happy on that side of the board, is she?
I didn't think that
16.
double five was likely.
No.
Just looked a little bit thoughtless in the process pre-double 10.
Game shot.
She pays the penalty. It's 2-1 now. And curiously, looking at the record of Rhian O'Sullivan in finals in Women's Series darts, playing Noelin van Leuven today is her 7th different opponent in finals. That is
140.
ridiculous. She's played Gemma Hayter, Fallon Sherrick, Bo Greaves, Mikuru Suzuki, Lorraine Winstanley, and Lisa Ashton.
90.
She's never played someone in a final twice.
Yeah, with all due respect,
100.
normally when you've made that many finals, you've played Bo Greaves at least 3 times.
Correct. Which makes her record in
Yeah.
Women's Series finals
120.
a bit of a thing.
Yeah, well, especially when you consider the one that she did then win was against Bo.
So by virtue of that, when she plays Bo in final, she's 1 for 1.
25.
Which doesn't really bode well for this one.
45.
Because when she doesn't play Bo Greaves in a final, she loses.
100.
There's a lot of eye flicking towards the tablet on the wall mid-throw.
78.
I'm not a fan of that. If you're going to look, step back. Don't get confused with the process.
26.
It's been happening a lot over the last couple of games. I just wonder if that's a side effect of feeling a little bit jaded.
100.
Maybe it's just part of the way she plays.
Yeah, I think at this stage of the day,
82.
it probably is searching for that extra element of comfort, just hoping that your opponent isn't in striking distance. She's dragged that one into the wrong segment.
28.
As a result, not getting a dart at double.
Double 2.
6.
Many chances missed. This final could be so different.
Game shot.
But it is now 3-1. And 2 legs separate Noelin van Leuven from maybe the best Saturday she's ever had.
Yeah, the frustration audible from Rhian O'Sullivan.
90. 30.
You can see having some trouble with the scoreboard there. Both Noelin van Leuven and the scoreboard really have been equally consistent,
86.
but Noelin probably happier than Dart
140.
Connect right now.
She's never gone back-to-back. Always need to give ourselves these fresh challenges.
125.
You want to win every tournament, of course you do. But think about the people that have won back-to-back tournaments, not just
60.
in Women's Series darts, but also other places around the world. You want to join that list to show that you can't just win a
100.
tournament. You can actually go back-to-back, either in the same day or the same weekend. And we know that Bo Greaves
60.
has done 4 out of 4 in a weekend before. Double top.
Game shot.
Right in the corner. And now on the cusp with a 4-0 lead.
$60.
It's 4-4-1 for Rhian O'Sullivan. I think Noelin would love to get this one finished as soon as possible.
60.
Doesn't want to be in the same situation as she was with Dana Verhagen in the semi-finals, where her 4-0 lead
26.
crumbled for a little while. But so far, so good. Rhian on
66.
4-1-5 after 6. Nolan 40 points better off on 375.
60.
Yeah, sensible stuff there from Nolan. 105 leaves 270.
60.
Simple ton away from a finish that would give her the title. And there is nothing else on the Dutch player's mind. Get this finished. Make Rhian O'Sullivan's finals
81.
record in Women's Series darts a little bit worse. And it's 6 darts from here that would finish the job. It's a really good approach.
122.
It will be double 4 for a double dose of winning on Saturday. Perfect.
Game shot and the match.
That's what Nolan van Leuven has done today. It's a perfect job. They're into the practice darts of the final of Women's Series 11 in 2025, and it is a very familiar-looking final. It will be the 9th time that Ashton and Sherrick will go head-to-head for a Women's Series title. Ashton has won 5 against Sherrick, and Sherrick has won 3 against Lisa. But where will this one go, Abigail Davis? Because if Ashton does get the victory, which the form book states that she might, she would equalise the 19 titles that Sherrick has already won.
Yeah, and I think coming into this final, Lisa Ashton would have to be made the favourite, wouldn't she, to go all the way and collect it? But we have got to the bottom of the injury that's been plaguing her over the course of this weekend. You can see there she's limping. She's actually staying with Aileen de Graaf this week in her house. And on Friday, fell down the stairs. She's telling me that
fell on to throw first.
The way that the stairs are in Aileen's house, not good when you've got size 8 feet apparently, and fell down and caused herself quite considerable damage.
140.
So she said it's eased up slightly today, but really impressive that she's still been able to
100.
produce this level of darts, because she said every time that she's throwing a dart, she can feel the shooting of pain up her back. And then I guess what that leads to then is
26.
Even when the pain starts to subside, when you're about to throw, you are anticipating that feeling. So it can change things, can't it, with the way that
60.
you're throwing the dart?
Absolutely, you can compensate for that pain by doing other bodily movements.
121.
It's part and parcel of the game. You're going to have things that go wrong, but you still have to play through it. And she's got everybody's respect.
100.
Because lesser injuries than this have seen people pull out of tournaments. But I think she understands just
26.
how well she's playing at the minute and how likely it is for her to have success. She's only 5 legs away from a 19th Women's Series
100.
event win.
Yeah, and a second of 2025. In terms of qualifying for
81.
the women's match play, well, that is pretty much done for her. But in terms of Ali Pali, that's what she'll have her sights set
57.
on at this point. She is up to second. Tops now for Fallon Sherrick to hold throw.
87.
And it's her finishing that has largely been the Achilles heel over the course of today. Bullseye now for Lisa Ashton.
59.
Not too far away.
What are the doubles going to do this time for Fallon?
Game
Sharp
shot.
enough.
Well, she'll feel Fallon, or she'll certainly be aware that she got away with one
60.
against Lauren Bloomfield. Yes, she produced a stunning 102 finish in the decider, but was nowhere near her best and almost
100.
punished by Bloomfield in that one.
think all things considered,
100.
Fallon can be seeing today as quite fortunate that she's made the final with an average of about 70 for the day.
60.
Whereas Ashton, over her last couple of matches, she's somewhere near 87.5. She's been on a different planet
57.
over the last hour or so, but it's not about the last hour, it's about the now. Fallon's got the jump.
Yeah, she was absolutely superb, wasn't she, in
134.
dispatching Robin Byrne in the last match that we saw on the streaming board. But a big match this in terms of who finishes this event in second
60.
place in the overall Women's Series Order of Merit, because if Fallon Sherrock is to beat Lisa Ashton, she will overtake the Lancashire Rose
140.
into second spot.
Thing is, you spend your day trying to get £1,000 in the
100.
bank, which they've done. This one game is worth £1,000. Double 16.
51.
Feels like Fallon is just a dart ahead at the minute. No shot at bull this time for
86
Lisa.
left. 46. Game shot.
2-0 it is to Sherrick. She's turned up in this final. Ashton, not as much. The curious twist is that the second event of the day will take place concurrently, straight after
85.
this game is done. And Lisa Ashton will be on this board again. So there's no break.
96.
Pain or no pain.
Well, the only good thing is I guess she can stay up there, because she did say the
82.
walk to get into the streaming booth was not helping with the pain that she's experiencing at the moment.
97.
But this rivalry, it's always one, you know, we've seen since the inception of the Women's Series. This was the rivalry, wasn't it? Since then, we've seen
41.
Bo Greaves come along, and she's created various rivalries. Gemma Hayter, Robin Byrne. There are various who come into that conversation. Mikura Suzuki, of course, who's not
41.
here this weekend. But this rivalry, there's always some spice. There's always something special about it.
I'm going to put you on the spot in this final, Abby.
81.
I want you to give me your top 3 female darts rivalries of all time. 2 of them
140.
are very, very easy. This is one of them. The other one is Gulliver Hunsela.
140.
Bull
Bulls.
again.
82.
And Bull missed again for Lisa Ashton. She's not getting much of a look in at the back end of legs.
52 scored.
Double 10 now for Fallon Sherrock.
52.
And she was definitely put off by the fact that she hit tops instead of the single 20. This is the most gettable chance that Lisa's had.
29.
She can't take it. She feels the pain more than once, physically and in a game sense. Is it compounded?
It is indeed.
Yep.
I
Game
had to
shot.
wait for confirmation.
See, that was a long delay.
Yeah.
Bit like VAR, but it still only took about 3 seconds, not 6 or 7 minutes.
Oh, we'd still be waiting if it was VAR, wouldn't we?
121.
But it's a better start to this leg for Lisa Ashton.
So do you concur with Ashton, Sherrick,
100.
Hunsela, and Gulliver?
Gulliver, yeah.
Give me one more.
100.
If you're watching this on PDC TV, think about it.
45.
You could have someone up against Anastasia,
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm thinking Anastasia.
Maybe Hedman Solomons.
45.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, there have been quite a few. I think even
55.
in more recent times, you'd put Makuru Greaves in the conversation.
It's definitely in the conversation.
65.
It's a very fair point.
And I think one for, I know this
100.
wasn't the question, but going forward, one that I'd like to see develop is maybe Greaves against Paige Paulin.
41.
All in good time. Now this is an opportunity to pressurize in a massive way. Hugely impressive 165. Now Ashton needs to try and get to the ball or double 18 here. Can't get to either.
90 left.
So Sherrick has a chance of a 4-0
57.
advantage in the 9th final she's ever played in Women's
Game
Series
shot.
darts against Lisa Ashton and takes the 4-0 lead immediately.
Yeah, that was all about the 165 setup, wasn't it, from Fallon Sherrick? Absolutely superb, and as clinical as she's been. As clinical as you can get
100.
with that dart at double 18.
Well, this is by far her best performance of the day so far.
41.
Yeah, she has whitewashed Lisa Ashton once before in the final of a Women's Series
60.
event. That was back in 2021. 5-0 success averaged in the high 90s on that occasion.
85.
Her best completed average so far today was on this stream board against Lauren Bloomfield of 74.66. This is a good 10 points better.
And just to give you an answer, because we might be running out of time, I think I'm just
81.
about going to put Hedman Solomon in there.
Yeah, an old school one.
Yeah.
Very friendly rivalry, that one, from the 90s and early noughties.
140.
You could have gone a little bit further back, but we don't have time because Fallon Sherrick could win this tournament with 44 more.
Double 18. She's already pinned it in this
25.
match. Looks at her hand. Didn't like the way she released it. But she's going to get match darts, more match darts. 3 if she wants them, if she needs them.
81.
That's 4 that have come and gone.
This will be some rescue act, this one. Needed to have 2 trebles, or indeed 2 doubles.
49.
But it's just 1 more double required for Fallon. It's that
Game
double.
shot and the match, Fallon
And it is
Sherrick.
20 Women's Series titles for Fallon Sherrick. It could have been 19 all between these two. Lisa doesn't have much of a break before she's in the next tournament, but the first one of Sunday goes to Fallon Sherrick. Women's Series 11 belongs to her. The next event starts very soon.
Yeah, it really could. This, their 16th meeting overall.
It's Robin for the bullseye.
And the head-to-head is 13-2, sorry, in favour of Bo Greaves. But really interestingly, this is the 4th time they've met in the final of a Women's Series event. Bo Greaves has won all 3 of the previous. They did also meet in the final of the Girls World Masters back in 2014. That's how long these two have been competing against each
Robin
other.
to throw first.
And if you look at their numbers in the build-up to this final, well, it's Bo Greaves who has got better and better as the event has gone on, really.
41.
Robin Byrne, at times, looked a little tired, didn't she, in the scoring phase against Natalie Gilbert, but there wasn't much wrong with her finishing in that
100.
semi-final.
My major worry for Robin in this final is how many chances she gets. Because the highest average she's
47.
actually had today is 76.4. Bo's biggest
180.
is about 15 points more, and with the first 180 of the final from Bo Greaves, that almost
99.
proves the point that if Robin doesn't lift the first 9 or the first 12, she could be in a lot of trouble.
180.
Yeah. Because of darts like that. Right on cue from Bo Greaves. And I think it's fair to say we've seen a bit of everything,
134.
haven't we? From the small sample size we've had of Bo Greaves on the stream board this weekend. But it looks, well, I was going to
16.
say, as though she's left her best until last.
Just a tiny stumble.
100.
But Robin is lurking here, just in case. 2 8s. She take a leg, she's dominated.
Game shot.
Yes, she can. The mere thought of Bo Greaves coming to Rosmalen and not winning a title out of 4 events. Inconceivable to most darts fans and everybody involved in the sport.
59.
If Robin doesn't win this final, is it still a successful day, considering it would be a semi-final and a final?
I think so, absolutely. Even though
59.
she'd have obviously come into this final thinking, right, get that 3rd title and
60.
pretty much almost secure my passage through to Blackpool, which, when you look at that order of merit, it looks like she's going to be there anyway, but this would make things a lot more
66.
comfortable, wouldn't it?
Win or lose this final, if I were Robin Byrne planning over the next few days, I'd be booking that ticket to Blackpool.
Yeah.
It would take something
140.
simply ridiculous to displace her the way the rankings are working. We know that Greaves is going to be there.
58.
Based on how the draw works, I don't see these two playing each other in the quarterfinals.
$60. $100.
This is arguably the hardest game to play in a Women's Series weekend.
You might want to tell Bo Greaves that.
She's done the perfect weekend
100.
multiple times, like we referenced a little bit earlier. So maybe not winning any events leading up to this one,
140.
she might have a little bit more in the tank.
Double 16 for Bo Greaves.
Game shot.
And that is clinical, isn't it? Take a 2-0 lead in a race to 5.
These are the kind of darts that were being thrown against her by Gemma Hayter earlier on today.
96.
She had a couple of really great battles with Gemma. 1 loss earlier this morning and 1 victory in this tournament.
120.
And do you know what I think is really impressive as well for Bo Greaves? Is that the importance of the Women's Series may well have changed for her. We've talked a lot today
45.
about, you know, she's playing on the Challenge Tour, very successful there, incredibly successful on the Development Tour as well. So the Women's Series may have taken on a lesser
100.
importance in some regards for her. And she still has that hunger to be reaching the final of the last event.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because she's got such a lead at the top of the order of merit
58.
that she can afford to come here and relax a little bit, whereas at the Challenge Tour and Development Tour, she doesn't have that luxury. So she is under a little bit more rankings pressure.
98.
But it's getting to the stage where she's so used to being at the top of any rankings table that she's used to looking down on players in that sense.
37.
Not that she does in the other sense, because she's not built that way.
Well, she is quite tall. She looks down on me.
96.
Not even sure she's stopped growing yet. This one could be getting
41.
away from Robin. There's a gulf in the averages, and this is what we feared a little bit earlier on. 88.
Game shot.
It is dominant. And this is turning into the best performance we've seen all weekend.
Yeah, Robin Byrne yet to get a dart at double, which is exactly, as you
85.
mentioned, what we feared would happen in this final. So those numbers you see there for Robin Byrne are just
73.
scoring.
Could be getting worse.
180.
Because somebody isn't slowing down. Somebody is playing like they've got a bus to catch. That average is climbing. When you consider how dominant
58.
Michael van Gerwen has been on the European Tour. He's won over 30 titles in that arena. Bo Greaves might overtake MVG
36.
when it comes to numbers of tournaments won when she wins Women's Series events. And that might happen this year.
44.
What she's amassing may never be caught.
I think she can afford to cut herself a little bit of slack
40.
with that visit. Even though it doesn't look like she's going to.
I don't think she will. I think her motivation right now is to win 5-0. That is not a bad mindset to have. It means you don't switch off. Switch on for tops.
120.
Absolutely beside herself with rage at missing tops for that. Even though she's got a lead of 188 points.
58. Game shot.
Hasn't put a foot wrong, really. It's 4-0. She's barely missed a double. And Robin hasn't even had a dart at one.
60.
Third victory in Women's Series for Robin looks like a distant ambition.
140.
There are going to be times as a dart player where you're up against someone and your internal voice says, I can't beat this.
96.
But not many women who have competed here over the last couple of days could beat this.
96.
The last 3 games, Greaves has gone through Rihanna O'Sullivan, one of the best players in ladies darts. Gemma Hayter,
60.
one of the best players in ladies darts. Fallon Sherrick, by 5 legs to 3, one of the best players in the world.
171.
Without sounding disrespectful at the minute, she's using Robin Byrne as a canvas to paint a masterpiece.
63.
Double 8.
Game
And
shot
Bo
and
Greaves
a match.
does
And
paint
winner,
a
Bo
masterpiece to win a 34th Women's Series title and her first of the weekend. It has been a bit of a trudge over the last couple of days for Bo, but she saves her best for last to get her first Women's Series title in the Netherlands.